Hey, thank you for meeting with us. It's the SDS team, Kara, Delight, and Kat, and we're here to talk with you about some different items. Kat, do you have the agenda pulled up, or would you like me to do that for you
I
today?
just put it in uh, the files. Hold on, I will have to find it to open it now.
And we're still getting people coming in. If you are new to the webinar, you can chat into the questions box any questions that you have as we go, or discuss some of the content pieces as we go. And Kat's pulling up our agenda. But given the season, I wanted to just start off by being grateful for you and all that you do as our providers in supporting Alaskans living their Alaskan lifestyles. So thank you and all that you do this holiday season. So Kat, I see your screen, but I don't see, oh,
Okay,
there we go. Perfect.
that's the joys of sharing, having multiple monitors. It doesn't really tell you which one you're sharing. So here we are.
Perfect. So our first item we wanted to just connect with you as a provider group on is related to distance delivery context for care coordinators and their clients. So you may be an RSL and you operate a group home or a um, RSL, assisted living home, a FAMHAB home, whatever home you operate, care coordinators may need your help in figuring out the logistics of connecting with their client through distance delivery. So, Kara, did you have some additional thoughts on that for folks?
Sure. Distance delivery services that are limited to certain amounts. Um, Basically, what we want to tell you is that what we're wanting our providers to do is to support our people to participate in distance delivery service if that is in their approved plan. We get a lot of feedback about it, particularly over the PHI when care coordinators are visiting virtually using a device. And there are other services that are currently allowed to be used, for service delivery using a device. Just to support that, if a person lives in one of our services that's out of the home residential, like our residential support living or group home or family hab, any of the license settings like that, their access to digital communication falls under licensing regulation. Um, but what we mean to say is that we're just asking our residential providers and any other provider to just support the person should they want to engage in the service and over the internet using a device. Doesn't mean we have to buy the person a device. The person will get their own equipment. They may need help using it. That's the part that we get a lot of questions about. Like who's going to help them use it and things like that. That is going to be for our residential providers. That comes under the communications requirement under licensing, and then for our other providers, we're just hoping that it's going to get easier for people to use Zoom and other forms of participating on a digital platform. But just an awareness that it's coming as an ongoing thing, not just under the PHI. Let's be supportive of people so that they can get the 21st century skills needed to engage, whether that skill is just paying attention to it, looking at it for a little while, or all the way through to having a device and operating it independently. So there's a continuum there of assistance that a person would need wherever they're at with it. We're just wanting to include people and asking for your help to do that. That's basically
Thank,
it.
Thanks, Kara. And if you have a situation where you're not really sure how you can support that as an agency, like as a provider, like you just have barriers to being able to support your Alaskan to interface with that, please come to office hours because we can help you come up with some creative solutions to make sure that we support our Alaskans to engage in those, the technical term, telemodalities, like not just through care coordination or maybe distance delivered waiver services, but also through like talking to their doctor or other things. So please let us know if you have any obstacles with supporting your Alaskans like that, so that we can help you however possible to do that. So the next item, and we lost the agenda, but it's okay. I can pull it up as well.
I'm bringing
The
it back. Just my monitor keeps flickering for some reason. I don't know if it's like a power loss about to happen, but it keeps flickering. So I'm gonna stop sharing and reshare it.
Okay,
So
I
I'm so
can share
sorry,
it
guys.
too, Kat. I know that you're, so Kat is like had a lot of technical issues, which I think we all have, and we can talk about that momentarily too. But I can share it too, Kat. Give me a second here. Because I know it can be tricky living in Alaska, right? So let me know if you can see my screen.
Mhm.
We can see it.
Okay, thank you. Kara, you were going to touch base on the National Court Indicator Survey.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a few letters going out about national core indicators. Some of us may already be familiar with that, National Core Indicators, NCI. And I wanted to share a couple things about that. And I'll have to make myself the presenter here. Okay, hang on. All right. Now, can you see
Yes.
my NCI? Okay. So this is NCI. Many of us are already familiar with it. National Core Indicators is just a survey that is done nationally, and it's exciting for Alaska to be involved in it just because it is national. We get to add our data and our viewpoints to the world as we see it. NCI IDD is the one that I'm talking about right now. It's people with who experience IDD. It is a survey that is done. It's been done variously in person and over a digital format, telemodality. Um, Depending on the year. So it's back again. Our people are people are selected to participate in this survey, sort of randomly selected depending on the waiver type that they have. And the people we serve will get a letter inviting them to participate in it, which I also have a copy of, and I'd be happy to show you. Let me pause my screen really quick and pull that up. It is a voluntary thing. You can always explore that website if you want. You can just search under National Core Indicators. That helps to, clarify exactly what it is. And let me find I have my survey letter, and I have a picture of a letter that a person might receive. And it's just taking a second to pull up here. So that's okay. I'll share it with us.
So as providers, what you might be encountering is that your residents might be receiving these letters.
Right. A person might get a letter that looks like this, National Core Indicators Adult In-Person Survey, and it just talks about what it is and who it's, that you're selected, you've been selected to participate. It has a contact, or it has the website there. So, this is being administered by Center for Human Development, so it's not done by, literally not done by SDS, but it's a partnership. So our supervisor's name is there, Pam Kellish, and the person might get a letter like that inviting them to take part in this voluntary survey. And then we have another letter that we can share, which is another one of the I guess barriers or questions a lot of people had about NCI was if it was confidential and if it was able to be accessed without worrying about HIPAA, because they're going to ask the person a lot of questions about life and if a person is, you know, happy with their services or if they're achieving their life that they want to live through the help of services or through the help of anybody else. It is not meant to be, you know, there aren't any consequences to this survey, and in fact, the data of who it is strictly aggregate. It's not collected by SDS in any way. It's collected through the help of Center for Human Development. They have their University of Alaska, so they have all of the protections around the confidentiality of the data. It's strictly to get the national core indicators, being that they're standard measurements used across the states to assess the outcomes of service. So the outcome meaning, you know, what did the person get from their experience with the service? It says here that they're primarily using video technology. Some of them might be in person, some of them might be via telemodality. The purpose of it is for quality. It doesn't impact individual services. 300 people were randomly selected. The person, and if they have a guardian, got the letter informing them of their selection, and the opportunity to opt out is not mandatory. If a person is not comfortable participating, then the interviewer who works for CHD, not SDS, they'll honor that that level of comfort that they do or don't have. Release of information is not required. This is all done through standards of research, which include, you know, having no negative outcomes for people who are vulnerable or getting services, no impact upon privacy. They're all HIPAA compliant, is what I'm trying to say. So if you have questions, I'm still on here as the contact, so I'm happy to help with any of your understanding about this. But this letter should go to our service providers and perhaps through e-alert or something like that, it might come out. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you, Kara. Let me see. Did we get any questions as that was coming through? It doesn't seem like you'll have any questions at this time, but don't worry. If you do have questions, reach out to Kara and she can help you navigate them. So I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
You want to be a presenter?
Yeah, I'll take
Okay.
it again.
Okay.
And I'll share the agenda again. Whoops. Let me see what am I sharing? Okay, great. So the next piece is a general reminder about your certification information with PCC. So that's Provider Certification and Compliance. We understand that sometimes you are super busy and trying to take care of everybody's needs. But we want to remind you that it's really critical that you reach out to our PCC team when you need to report a change. And so I want to just take a moment to show you that form because it's really important for you to do that. Did any of you take the CEH or the training on variable certifications that was released earlier this year? Well, not to like spoil it for you, but this is an important piece of showing compliance and showing that, you know, you're maintaining your records and connecting with us. And it's better to do that preemptively so that you can hopefully gain a variable certification. So where do I go to find this form? Here I am on the SDS page, and I'm going to roll down all the way to provider, or excuse me, of interest. So down here to approved SDS forms, clicking in there, I have some categories that I can use to click into, and I want to select provider certification forms. And here we have the whole package of all the forms. And what I want to draw your attention to is the miscellaneous form section where you would report a change. Let's open one up and just take a quick look at it. We're not going to do a super deep dive, but I want you to see this form so that just as a reminder that it's something that you should leverage if there's any changes to your agency. What could those be? Maybe it's something with your agency information, your new mailing address, new physical address, and there's other pieces to it. Maybe your ending certification, maybe you have a new name, or maybe you change your business type or change your business owner. Now we get that, you know, if you have some of those big top tier changes of like ownership or business type, that sometimes the information doesn't carry down to the layers. So we hope to encourage a agency to develop that, I shouldn't say develop it, I guess seed that information throughout your agency to a couple of different people so that they know this is something that to keep track of and can help a new owner or a new program manager or program administrator to keep tabs on. So that's the information that I had for you about reporting changes. Again, please come to our office hours if you have questions on that. And that leads us to our last item. But before I do, Kat or Kara, did you have any thoughts on the PCC piece? Anything else we should touch on? Well,
And if you have questions, you can reach out to us or the CERT unit if you are not sure, what documents to submit or what changes to report or how to report them, just ask. It's better to ask than, and be told you don't have to do it, then find out later, or you should have done it 6 months ago and now it's research time and they're asking questions.
yes, thanks for that, Kat. It's true. Better to ask and find out than find out afterwards. So our last piece is related to all of the, I'm just going to say it plain, wacky weather we have been having in the South Central area in particular has gone from like record-breaking snow to rain to windstorms to cold snaps, all within a really short period of time. And it's resulted in a lot of office closures and internet connectivity issues. And guys, we still have like 4 months of winter left to go. So we wanted to remind you this would be a great time for your teams to start exploring, like, do we need to update our team's emergency preparedness, like operations or plans? And what do we need to do that? What should we explore? And one of the resources we have is actually from the state, and you can download this link from the agenda that will be sent out later. But this is from the Division of Public Health. That's us, like we're part of that. And we have an emergency preparedness toolkit already pre-packaged. This is a great resource for care coordinators or essentially any provider looking to make sure that we have these resources mapped for our Alaskans that need this kind, like if there's an emergency, our Alaskans served really are the ones that we want to make sure have a solid plan. And these toolkits can really help with that. One of our teammates, Cassandra Lynch, she asked that that it's emphasized to you that we make sure we update like the client list, like our telephone emergency list, this emergency list, and have it in a really easy to find location within an Alaskan's home. So why? Well, not only for the Alaskan, right? Or all of our, utilities, emergency responders, all of that, but also for emergency responders so that they can find this information on who to call if they are responding to an emergency and can alert someone of that. The places she recommended to place this was behind the front door. So like when you close the door, it's there. On a refrigerator, that would be a common place to put it. Or on the cabinet that's in a very easily located like area to spot, or behind a closet, like the coat closet door at the front, because emergency responders come in and they do a quick look around on those kind of locations that would be easy to reference in an emergency. So if you get an opportunity to work with your Alaskan on this kind of topic, please make sure that those kind of little details are mapped for them. It doesn't seem like much right now, but in the heat of the moment, it makes a huge difference. Other resources, so that's one, and also props to Cassandra for that tip. Other resources you can utilize that might be really helpful. There's some planning, and there's I think this is our book. Oh, sorry, that's it's one of the tools that they have. They have a series of them, and you could have this listed. The other one is the Disaster Preparedness Book for Families of Children and Youth with Special Healthcare Needs. While this is designed for children, it's got a lot of really good information that you as an agency might just want to check out and take a look at. So let's just take a quick look at it so you can kind of have a visual of what this looks like. And going through it, there's a lot of different elements to keep to, oh, and I'm sorry, it's definitely blurry on my end. It has different ideas to walk through as you prepare, things that may not seem like natural to just think about in the moment. So please take some time to brush up on that emergency preparedness. There's a lot of folks that had situations like there was so much snow they couldn't get out of their house. Who do you call in your community for that? How do you navigate those things? Those are really important things to walk through so that we can ensure that Alaskans can stay in their homes and stay independent by having that planned ahead. So I know that many of you have already done this and are just like, oh, you guys are listening to me being like, we're done, check, over it, done. And for that, I want to say thank you. Thank you for already having it taken care of. This is just a reminder because the weather has been rather extreme and we live in such an extreme place. You'd think we'd be used to it by now, but it's always a surprise, right? So please work with our folks or with our Alaskans to make that happen. So I'm not seeing any questions or comments. Okay, neither's Kat. And this is really the big pieces we had for you today. The other item, oh my goodness, I dropped, let me bring that back. I dropped the agenda. I'll pull it back up. Let's see how it'll open up for me. There we go. The last thing we want to do is just show you all those resources that we have for you for if you need any case consultations, experiencing any barriers to providing services, really where you're a catch-all for not sure what to do here, but we know we need to do something. Reach out to SDS. Come to our office hours. Those are every Thursday from 3 to 4. We have the SDS Training Academy, as many of you already know, registered and taking those courses. We have our SDS YouTube channel and an SDS Policy and Programs channel. And oh my gosh, I totally skipped number 3. Kat or Kara, do you want to touch base on number 3? Because that's a pretty big one. It's a huge one, actually.
Sure.
Oh,
It's always, yeah, it's always, and don't worry, because it's always there. It's something we can always learn about. And if you've been with us before in different webinars, I'm sure we've talked about it before. We're setting forth to come up on some interesting new ideas for regulations that have not yet been developed. And we just wanted to remind everybody to continue to check your e-alerts, and there's other websites that have overall, Department of Health regs come up and announcements and things like that. So you might see it a few different ways is what I'm trying to say. But when we have our opportunities for public comment and new regulations coming out in draft form and new ideas coming out, overall, because we implement our state programs under the eyes of CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. But we need to run the programs in ways that work for Alaskans. This is why we engage in this process where we ask for stakeholder feedback. And stakeholder is any Alaskan that is affected potentially by the topic at hand. So when a new reg is going to be thought about, it's coming from stakeholder input. Just like everything that we do, even having waivers, that everything came from public input and stakeholder input, and engaging with our lawmakers and communicating. So be on the lookout for e-alerts coming up, asking for stakeholder feedback. Some of the ideas and regs that we have coming forward are things that shouldn't be super new. I know that Tony and Lynn, our leadership team, has gone out to and talked about different things coming up. One example would be complex care homes. Another example would be acuity rates to care for people in the community who need significant supports over and above anything we have language for right now in our regulations. So there will be other kinds of structure changes and proposed thoughts coming forth to progress in our services and just to make sure that we're running the programs to the best of our ability in response to stakeholder input, so we can use the guidance of CMS to put these together and run them under waivers. So look for an opportunity to engage in public comment. And what happens is, not public comment, first is stakeholder feedback, and there's a difference. So stakeholder feedback is before regs are even made. We didn't make any language, we have ideas, we have kind of an informal conversation about it where we listen, we get ideas about, about how, we want this to go, and we can give some information about, hey, the rules say we can do it this way. What are your ideas? What do you think we should do? What do you think should happen? What do you think is best for you and your family? What do you think is best for you and your agency? So that's a time for public input. So we take that public input and then we develop language that's draft regulations around it. So some of it we can respond to and form eventually into regs. Some of it we can't, but we need all of it. We need to know what people think and what they need. We need to know about everybody who's a stakeholder who could be potentially affected by this. It doesn't matter how you're when I say affected, it sounds weird, but like if you're an Alaskan and you're in this world of people who we talk to and teach and get services and help give services, then it could be you could be impacted by it. So participate in that as much as you can. Help people we serve and families and individuals, participate in that too. And then we make regulations and throw them out there as proposed regulations. Then we take public comment. And public comment is a little bit of a different format. It's actually a lot different format. It's a formal situation where people, if it's a phone session, people get in line with the phone moderator and they do their comment. Sometimes they're done by webinar. Sometimes they haven't been done by webinar, and sometimes they're done in person. So the formatting of that goes out in the announcement about proposed regulations. Okay, so that's the public comment part. First part is we get your input and your ideas. Then we make something to propose to you. Then you look at that and provide your comment. And then final regulations are made. And then they go to the commissioner to be signed. And then they have an effective date. That's a number of days out from when they're signed. And those things vary too. There's no rule about when it's effective after it's signed. It has to do with how many regs are coming down the pipe at that time and what the issue is. Like sometimes there's crisis and stuff, and so that can affect it too. But it all works that way. It's all going to be about public input, draft regs, public comment, final regs. So stay tuned on that. I mentioned a few of the more commonly known ones because we've already gone forth and had a little session where where it was the ideas were put out. There's more coming. Why do we do this? Because we have to progress. Our regs don't stay the same. We do have to follow CMS rules, but we have to make it right for Alaskans. We have to be able to afford it. The legislators look at that stuff too. But we are there for to help support that too. As a training and care coordinator liaison, working together to help you get the understanding that you need to, make a great comment on it. What are your thoughts, Delight? Kat, jump in.
Well, no, I think you covered everything. We did the engagement when we talked about LRIs. We've had a couple of sessions like that where we kind of looked for ideas from the public. So this should be familiar to most of you. And if you missed it, then, like Kara said, make sure you pay attention to the e-alerts. The e-alerts will have information on how to register and the times. And there should be a couple of those coming up soon. I think we're still waiting to finalize the dates on those, but we should have some coming up.
So for the public input, stakeholder engagement session timeframe, if you can't attend the session, you can please contact our policy unit, and all of their contact information will be all over the e-alert and referenced in the event itself. So please don't, panic if you aren't going to be able to attend the public input session for whatever reason. You can still contribute to the drafting process by contacting through policy unit and letting them know what your concerns are. If you go to the policy program channel right now, they have the previous ones. I think they're getting those booted up so that those are on their channel for the sessions that have been done this past quarter in this fall timeframe, which varied from adult host home to fam hab home. So we've done quite a few so far. So that means that those items have gone from public input, they're now getting drafted, and they'll soon move to public comment. The only thing I really kind of wanted to show you related to this is the formal public comment database. Like it's a notice like piece, and I can show that to you because it's in like a tricky spot. It's in the Alaska Lieutenant Governor's office. It's through the Lieutenant Governor. So Google the Alaska Lieutenant Governor and you can click on that page. So we're just looking at it in real time, searching for it. And you can go into, oh, it is under information, and it's the online public notices system. So that's really the system that if you are really interested in not just home and community based waivers, maybe you're just interested in public health in general, you can find a lot of different notices through that system. It is rather finicky, so I wouldn't just try to like search for this regularly. Highly encourage you to sign up for alerts so that you get a heads up when those are coming so that you can participate in these processes and influence these regulations that then you use every day with your work. So hopefully that's all helpful for you. That is all that we had for you at this time. Not seeing really many questions. We'll give you all a minute or two to think about it, but we can leave early so that, you can take a good 23 minutes to go for a walk or whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, as our awesome providers. So we'll just give you a minute, and then any burning thoughts, team?
I think you covered everything. Hope everybody enjoys their Thanksgiving and the holiday
Yes.
weekend that's coming up.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
have a wonderful holiday. Absolutely.
Well, thanks again for all that you do, and please connect with us if you have questions. We'll see you next time.